Welcome to the Live Wide Open podcast. I'm your host, Randy B. Ramirez, also known as Wide Open Randy, and I'm here to lead you to become the best version of yourself. This show helps raise the bar for all the motorsport enthusiasts, those who want more out of life, those who want to do more, those who want to be more, those who love the thrill, the joy, and the connection of what these high performance engines bring into our lives. Because holding it wide open is just what we do. Being a good fucking person is who we are, and living our life to the fullest is the lifestyle that we choose. Man, today we're going to be talking about how the secret to achieving your goals this year isn't about doing more, but rather about doing less. And I know that may sound like that may not make sense to most, but hear me out for a minute here because there's some facts behind this, right? You see, I've been on this hardcore personal development journey for several years now, right? And it wasn't until really I guess, last year that it really hit me hard, right? If you want long term success, if you want to build the consistency that leads to that long term success, then cutting back is the foundational element that needs to be addressed first, my friend. Right? And it took me a long time to realize that because I was always about adding and adding and adding, but I never realized that it was subtracting that was holding me back from developing the consistency that I needed to push things forward, right? You see, many people focus on just adding habits or adding new tools or establishing new routines to their lives, but they fail to execute on them long term because what happens is that they are already stretched too fucking thin, right? And this is why identifying what to stop doing is just as critical to your growth. Because men who are often juggling work, right? Men like us who are often juggling family time, men like us who are often juggling personal goals, who are often juggling hobbies, who are often, even in some instances, juggling a side hustle, all while trying to level up. If your schedule, if your routine, or whatever it is that you want to call it, is too fucking complex, then you will never stick to it, excuse me, over the long haul. Excuse me, and please work with me. I'm battling over a bad sickness here. I had bad flu, fever, and all that, and getting back to normal, sticking through the episode, sticking through the commitment that I have here with you guys. And no matter what, we show up, we never miss, and we set the standard of how we move forward, right? And so, this is why subtraction is powerful, my friends, right? Because the law of overload states that taking on too much leads to burnout, and it also leads to inconsistency in your life, right? It's like it's like overloading a truck way, way, way past its limits, right? It doesn't matter how powerful that fucking engine is. If the frame cannot sustain the load that you're putting on that truck, you're not going to get very fucking far, right? Well, similarly, a man who's like trying to lose weight, right, adds a complex diet plan, adds these intense fucking workouts, and then adds all these supplements that he has to take. And then on top of that, he doesn't stop drinking beer and he doesn't stop eating all this junk food on the weekends. Well, what's the result? Fucking inconsistency and a shitload of frustration. And I say that because I've been through that. I've been down that road and I know what that feels like, right? And so subtraction simplifies your focus and it gives you power focus, right? And when you have power focus, it allows you to give 100% effort to what truly matters to you. So get intentional with what you want, cut out the distractions, and then focus on mastering your craft, right? Embrace the mindset shift. It all starts in the mindset. I'm really a big believer on that, right? Know that saying no to the wrong thing is saying yes to your priorities. So stop saying yes to fucking everything, right? Stop being a yes man, right? Start setting boundaries for yourself and start avoiding the commitments that drain your time and that drain your energy. Maybe it's time to start saying no to those midweek night outs with your friends so that you can stay on track with your goals. You know, excuse me. I apologize for all this coughing you're going to be hearing. I'm really trying to get work through this. And so It can be as simple as that. Just think about it, right? If you're someone who goes out every weekend, every week, at least once a week, at a weeknight with your friends to go hang out. And I know it might not seem like a sexy thing to do, but eliminating that time to actually go work on your fucking goals, that will put you in a completely different place at the end of 1 year. Even if you want to take that step back, let's say 1 quarter, right? 3 months. That's 4 weeks per month, 4, 8, 12. That's 12 working sessions that you would have done in just 1 quarter alone. You're going to be way further ahead than you were if you're going to go out fucking sticking off with your fucking friends. And I know it sucks, but you have to make the sacrifices in order to move forward with the things that you want in life. And another thing, quit multitasking, man. You see, multitasking reduces your efficiency, and at the end of the day, all you end up doing is creating more stress for yourself, right? And people don't, they argue with me on this, but the science backs it up, right? Because every time that you switch between tasks, your brain has a buffer time of about 15 minutes before you can really get fully locked in on that task. And if you're constantly switching between task after task after task, I used to be, this used to be me, excuse me, have a whole mess of windows open on my browser, bouncing between one thing and the other, handling uh, project management, building high rises. Oh, we used to brag about how we could do all these multitasking, but then I started really looking at the science behind it. And because it takes you about 15 minutes buffer to really lock back in on whatever you're working on, if you're constantly switching between tasks, you're killing 15 minutes every time you switch. And if you're doing a high productivity task that requires a lot of your focus, you're never going to be really locked in because you're constantly switching, right? And so, if you're constantly switching tasks, then you will never really embrace and never really, lock in into your power focused creativity sessions, right? This is why I'm a huge advocate for single tasking as the ultimate productivity hack. And again, I used to be against this. I used to brag about how much I can multitask. And nowadays, I fucking single task. I time block my schedule, and I really lock in and I focus on what it is I need to do. And I end up getting way more done in a shorter period of time. Give that a shot, right? Another thing you can stop doing is maybe stop trying to answer emails or stop trying to do work related issues during your family time. Instead of doing that, be fully present with your family, right? Another thing, eliminate the negative self talk, right? Limiting beliefs and negative self talk sabotage your progress, my friend. Every single time that you catch yourself with negative self talk, I want you to recognize it and I want you to replace those thoughts with empowering ones instead, right? So like instead of saying, oh, and this is a popular one, that among us men, oh, I'm not that good with money, right? Instead of saying that, replace it with, I'm learning how to manage my finances more effectively. I'm learning how to get better with them, right? It's not about lying to yourself when you have negative self-talk and putting these wishy-washy things into your mind and be like, oh, I'm Mr. Positive. No, if you're really trying to get better with your money, then don't say that you're bad with your money. Say, I'm learning to be better with my money, right? It's all about giving yourself a perspective shift and learning, really seeing the words that you're using, because the words that you use will dictate how you feel, right? How your self-worth becomes, right? This next one here is one that really gets overlooked and by a lot, right? And unfortunately, it's really why most fail, right? Cut out non-essential activities, my friend. Like, have you ever done a time audit on your schedule? I bet you that if you tracked everything that you spend your time on for an entire week, you would find plenty of valuable time that is not being put to good use. I know because I've done this, and I've done this with plenty of friends, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to do this." And I was like, "Bro, you have the time. It's not that you don't have the time. It's you're not prioritizing the time, right?" So I want you to identify activities that add little value to your goals and your happiness, right? So, for example, like how much time do you spend binge watching TV, or how much time do you spend scrolling social media every day? Did you know that the average person spends about 2 hours and 20 minutes on social media every single day? That's over 16 hours every single week. in 1 week alone. Man, that's 2 entire work days in 1 fucking week. No wonder why so many people aren't getting shit done, you know? But regardless of all these little categories that I've given you, right? Like these were all just generalized categories that I had put together, right? What we're here to really find out is yours, right? Like what is it that you need to identify from your life to subtract, right? And more importantly, how do you identify what to subtract from your life, right? Well, it's pretty simple. Let's evaluate your habits. Let's evaluate your routines. Let's evaluate what commitments you have, right? And ask yourself these questions, right? What activities am I doing that leave me feeling drained? What patterns do I keep repeating that keep me stuck in a cycle of inconsistency? Be honest with yourself, right? And what's one thing that I do regularly that doesn't align with my goals? Right? Be real with yourself. Get honest. Be face the fucking facts. A lot of the time, people just don't want to face the facts, and the answers are right there in front of them. If you really just get honest with yourself, you'll find the answers. They're right there. So I'm gonna give you the three questions again. Number one is what activities am I doing that are leaving me drained? Right? Number two is what patterns do I keep repeating that keep me stuck in this cycle of inconsistency? And then number three is what's one thing that I'm doing regularly that doesn't align with my goals? And once you have those answers, then it's really time to set some clear priorities for yourself. You see, having ultimate clarity on your long-term goals helps you make better decisions in the short term, and then it also helps you make better decisions about what to eliminate from your life. So if like your goal is to build a side hustle, for example, then you're gonna need to start cutting down on all the low value social activities that take away time from you actually going to work on that side hustle. You know, it's just like that example that I was making earlier. Like, if you go out every week with your homies, and I ain't knocking that, you gotta have time to socialize with your friends, but maybe you cut back one of those times every week so you could go work on your side hustle. You can get ahead like that, right? You see, subtraction isn't about creating a vacuum. It's about making space for better choices in your life. Embrace the compounding effect of subtraction, because consistency over intensity is will get you the results that you want. So many people, and I'm guilty to this, we try to make these huge hurdles, these huge strides, these huge fucking movements towards the things that we want, when we don't realize that if we back up a little bit, we slow down, and we show up consistently every single day over a long period of time, we're gonna fucking blow the results that we would have gotten by a couple home runs. Like people are just, and again, I'm guilty of this. You're always trying to hit these home runs, but if you focus on single, soft hitting success principles that you can execute daily, and man, in a quarter, of just 1 quarter of the year, you're gonna be way more ahead because you're gonna be more consistent. You're gonna be showing up every day. That's just 1 quarter. Then you got 2 quarters. Then you got 3 quarters. Then you got a full year fucking year. Imagine the progress that you're gonna make by focusing on the daily habits that you can do. Right? Doing fewer things with more focus leads to sustained progress, my friend. So instead of adding like a bunch of new habits that you want to implement this year, I want you to focus on really nailing one at a time and then stacking new one every month. This is something that I always, a principle that I like to recommend. Right, and this way, the reason why I like to recommend this is because in 3 months, you will have built three solid habits, consistent habits, right? Versus like a lot of us, we're trying to attack all of them at once at the beginning, right? And then what happens is that, excuse me, we, excuse me, we try to attack them all at once and then only to fall off with all of them before we even finish the month one, right? Because what happens, the schedule is just too hectic for you. So instead, if you focus on implementing one habit the first month and you lock that in for 30 days, and then the second month, you already have that one locked in for 30 days, you add the second one, bam, you're going, you hit 60 days, you already got two habits locked in. By the time you hit 3 months, you add the third habit and you lock that one in. And by the end of the third month, which is 1 quarter, you have three solid habits locked in versus the three that you tried to do all at once and then you didn't even make it past month one, right? This is really all about building mental clarity and really about building energy for your sustainability, my friend. Like subtract the clutter both mentally and physically, because what it does is that frees up your energy so that you can stay consistent. Like try decluttering your workspace to improve your focus on important projects, for example. And don't forget to celebrate your small wins too, my friend. Like, be sure to acknowledge the progress that you're making by subtracting, not just by adding, right? So remember, subtracting is critical step toward consistency and building your success. Identify what habits, identify what commitments, and identify what mindsets are holding you back. Then let them the fuck go, because they're not serving you, right? And then what I want you to do is I want you to focus on fewer high impact actions that are aligned with your goals. Like make sure to perform that life audit I was telling you about. Write down 3 things that you're going to stop doing, and then identify one high value habit that you're going to double down on. Because subtraction isn't about doing less, it's about living with purpose. By cutting back, you're making room for the powerful man that you're becoming, my friend. Let's make this year a year full of clarity. Let's make this year a year full of fucking power. Let's make this year a year full of focus. But most importantly, let's make this year a year full of fucking consistency. This is the year you make things happen. Let's get to fucking work. Yo, I'm driving the checkered flag deep into the ground, and I'm calling all the motorsport enthusiasts who want to improve their situation. Let's break free from all the shit that's been holding us back, and let's become the badass motherfuckers that we're all meant to be. Breaking the stereotype is exactly what we're here to do. This movement is called Live Your Life Wide Open, and helping others level up is the mission that God has tasked us with. Join me on this journey while we empower people to do more and to be more. And if you still haven't subscribed yet, my friend, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and smash that button so you never miss another episode. And if you connected with today's message, if you resonated with today's message, if it hit you in some type of way, man, do me a favor and share this on your story. And make sure that you tag me at Wide Open Randy, because those are the actions that help more gearheads to see and hear about this podcast. And ultimately, that's how our community grows. I'll catch up with you on the next episode. But till then, live your life wide open, my friend. Peace.